is the newest addition to the James Bond franchise, and it is the fourth to feature Daniel Craig as James Bond. Now, real quick, I'll give you my history with the James Bond films. So, up until a couple of weeks ago, I had never seen Daniel Craig's first James Bond film, Casino Royale. And recently, I bought all three of the Daniel Craig James Bond films on Blu-ray in a steelbook, as you saw in my Blu-ray update video for October. However, I have seen Quantum of Solace. I saw that and as my introduction to Daniel Craig as James Bond. Now, I saw that like eons ago. I only saw it once, and then I saw it recently. I was like, yeah, I don't see what all the fuss is about how this is bad, but it's whatever. Then, of course, I have seen Skyfall, and that was a while back when it was first released. I saw it on DVD, not in theaters, but I did enjoy that movie quite a lot. And then I finally saw Casino Royale, and I quite loved Casino Royale. And then I watched the other two afterwards, and now I understand it, putting all three of them together. Though not all the way, but I do see why people did not like Quantum of Solace a little bit though. And of course, one of my first rundown videos was about why Idris Elba should be the next James Bond after Daniel Craig retires from the character. I'll put the link to that video in the description below. But now with Spectre, now I'm curious how that movie holds up, especially after the critical success of Skyfall. So Spectre takes place sometime after Skyfall, and James Bond, he's doing his own missions that ultimately lead to this organization called Spectre, and MI6 is dealing with the government, pretty much trying to shut them down because they have intelligence that can look out for the country. It's pretty much the plot from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, in my opinion. Now, I'm gonna make this as quick as possible, but here are the positives. Daniel Craig in this movie, he pretty much shows why he still has this role, and he still kills it as James Bond. I loved all the side characters and what they did in the film. Like Ralph Fiennes, he returns as the new M, and I loved his whole storyline in defending MI6 while they're trying to shut it down, and he's conflicted, he doesn't know what to do. But they are trying to shut MI6 down because the government feels that it is an obsolete format as far as secret spy organizations go. Q returns in this movie, and he's always cool in these movies. And then Naomi Harris, she returns as Miss Moneypenny, and I loved her in Skyfall, and I love her in this movie. And this movie is shot very beautifully. Sam Mendes, who directed Skyfall, returns as the director for this movie, and he continues to show, like, yeah, have you seen Skyfall? That movie was pretty good, and that movie was shot very beautifully and very good. Adding directorial talent to your movies is never a bad thing. Monica Bellucci in this movie, oh my god, she is definitely on my mind right now, and she'll definitely be on your mind when you leave the theater and thinking about her in this movie. Even the new girl, she's great as a new Bond girl, and she is staying within the theme of these newer Bond films in which she's a Bond girl, and at the same time they don't try to sexualize her, and she proves that she can hold her own against Bond and any Bond villains, and she knows how to shoot a gun. Christoph Waltz plays the villain in the movie. Alrighty, now these are where my negatives come in. Now, I'm not saying Christoph Waltz, he was bad in this film, trust me, he was good in this film, and for what he was given, he was good, but as the character he played in the movie goes, he could have been developed a little bit more, and they could have made it more relevant, and he was really in only but a few scenes in this movie, or just not in much of the movie at all. Like, he was in that, that shadowy room meeting that you saw in the trailers. He was in that part, and then he's in the middle mark of the movie where he formally introduces himself and what his motives are, and then of course he's in the climax of the movie, and there's not really much there. Now granted, I know the villain, he's supposed to be in pretty much the three most important parts, but at the same time, I feel like they could have used him a little bit more in the movie, and especially utilized Christoph Waltz. Not the best Bond villain, but he's okay, but at the same time, it's like, if you bring someone like Christoph Waltz into this movie, that ought to be a done deal. You better utilize him to the fullest. Dave Bautista comes into this movie playing one of Christoph Waltz's henchmen, and coming off the success of Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I know Dave Bautista, he's not one of the best actors, and he even knows that. But he doesn't say jack shit in this movie except for one line, and it's just one curse word, and I'm not going to spoil what curse word it is and why he says it. But I feel like Dave Bautista, he was wasting this film, and he could have played something more than just a henchman, tongue-in-cheek henchman superior to James Bond. Now, I know that's what the character was supposed to be, but at the same time, it's like, that's just me. Me personally, I just don't like characters like that. And it just feels a little cheesy. About halfway through the movie, it lost me, and maybe this is because, it's kind of late at night, and I saw the movie, and I kind of fell asleep during the movie. Maybe that's a factor, but other than that, from what I saw of the movie did kind of lose me a little bit, and it did just kind of get a little disinteresting towards the middle. And maybe this is probably because of the effect of the movie kind of being rushed out, because the movie literally started shooting at the beginning of the year, and they tried to finish it out to meet this release date. So yeah, it feels like they just kind of rushed the script out a little bit because they wanted to meet the release date, and so therefore it feels like there's room for improvement, but ultimately the movie and the script kind of felt rushed. In the end, Spectre, it was a good addition to the franchise, but not as great as Casino Royale and Skyfall, and that's the thing. Everybody is saying that this movie is not as good as Casino Royale or Skyfall. And I heard some critics say that this movie is as good as Quantum of Solace or whatever, which is sort of a bad thing, but at the same time I can kind of see why they would say that. Here's how I say it. I feel that this movie is Casino Royale plus Quantum of Solace times Skyfall equals Spectre. I'll also even go on to say, like, this movie is kind of like the Pitch Perfect movies. You make one good movie that is a good perfect movie and that surprised everyone and caught everyone off guard and makes a good standalone movie. And then they make a sequel that, while you enjoyed yourself watching it, it didn't really hold up to the first movie. So therefore, it just feels like the sequel was just a byproduct of the success of the first movie. So therefore, it just feels like a cash grab. And that's how I feel about Spectre with the movie Skyfall. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form calling Spectre a cash grab, but at the same time, I do feel like Spectre, it is a product of the success of Skyfall. That being said, Spectre, it was still an enjoyable film, directed beautifully by Sam Mendes. The story could have been more, but the action in the film is still entertaining, and Daniel Craig continues to show why he is one of the great James Bonds. I'm gonna give Spectre a B-, for I would buy it on DVD. Now, I know ultimately I'm probably going to end up buying the movie on Blu-ray anyways, but hey, I'm just saying what I think the movie is worth. So that's it for the day. If y'all like what you see, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel. The links are in the description below. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Periscope, and Movie Pilot. Peace.